Hey guys, so Wyatt is now 2 months old. I can't believe it. So it's time for me to do our 2-month update. It is now 8 p.m. and I'm just getting around to filming this video now. But I really wanted to get this up since he had his 2-month doctor's appointment last night. So he got weighed, measured, all that good stuff at his doctor's appointment. He is now a whopping 13 pounds, which you would already know if you followed me on Instagram, which is always linked in the description box if you are interested. So he's 13 pounds, he is 57 centimeters tall, and he has a 40 centimeter head. I don't know what percentiles those are in. Again, I have to look them up. I did a rough kind of search, and according to just some random chart I found on Google, which was specific to Canada, he's about 75th percentile for weight and 50 for height, but I don't know how accurate that is. I keep forgetting to ask my doctor like what the actual percentiles are. Sorry about the background noise. I'm right in front of a window which I have open because or else I'd be cooking up here. The weather today said it feels like 31 degrees Celsius, which is really hot for here, and then I'm on the top floor, which made it even hotter. So it's about 35 degrees Celsius in this room, which is ridiculous with no airflow. So he is in 3 to 6 month clothes and some 6-month clothes. The 6-month clothes from Costco, the Peckle brand, and Carter's fit him perfectly, which is shocking. And then 3 to 6 month clothes and basically every brand. Strangely enough, 3 onesies that he has from Walmart, just the plain white ones that comes in a 3-pack, is 0 to 3 months and still fit him perfectly. So I'm thinking those must run really big since he is still wearing those and they fit him fine. He is still in size 1 diapers, but I bought a smaller box this time, and I'm hoping that by the time we go through those diapers, he'll be into the size 2 because we do have boxes of size 2 in his closet. He has started telling stories, which is absolutely adorable. He will kind of like have a conversation with you. He will coo. You say, "Oh, really?" or "Tell me a story," and he'll keep going, and then he waits for a response. So he's definitely learning some conversational skills there. I absolutely love like the start of the baby cooing before they start saying any real words. When they just babble on in their little baby talk, melts my heart. I love it so much. I remember fondly when Max talked like that and wasn't so full of attitude and sass, and the stories he tells now. If you didn't know, my older son is now 6, so it's been a while since I've heard all these cute little baby noises, and I'm loving every second of it. Wyatt absolutely adores Max. You can see pictures of the two of them together on my Instagram, again linked in the description box. Every morning when I bring him downstairs, Max gets up at the crack of dawn, even though it's summer vacation, like who knows why. But we go down in the morning and I lay Wyatt down next to Max. Max is usually watching cartoons in the morning, and he just has the biggest smile on his face. He loves his big brother, and Max has been being a really great big brother. He's been helping out a lot. If I need to get supper done, or I'm trying to tidy up, he will occupy Wyatt a little bit, but once Wyatt starts getting upset, of course, then it's like game over. But Wyatt loves his big brother so much, he's usually pretty content with him for quite a while. Wyatt has great head control. I don't remember how well Max held his head up at this time, but Wyatt hardly ever has his head drop now, and he is ready to crawl. If I'm holding him upright, he's like climbing up me, and then if I put him down for tummy time, he can get up onto his elbows and he's pushing with his feet, but he's not strong enough to get up on his hands, and he's not coordinated enough to like move his arms in that way, you know what I mean? So he gets up on his elbows, but then he kicks with his feet, and he's going with his feet that he ends up kind of doing a face plant, and then he starts again. So he's kind of like flopping forward at this point, which I am not ready for a mobile baby yet. Once they are mobile, everything changes. So if he could just slow down a little bit, not be ready to crawl for a few more months, that would be great. Wyatt is happiest in the mornings. So he usually wakes up around 5 o'clock and then will feed and go back to sleep until between 8 and 9 usually. And then when he wakes up for that second time in the morning, when we're just kind of getting started with our day, he is all smiles. He dances. That is when he tells his best stories. And he loves playing with his brother in the mornings, as I mentioned before. He's just all around such a happy baby in the mornings. However, after that, he is probably one of the grumpiest babies I've ever met. He does not cry excessively, which I'm so thankful for, but I don't know, he just wants to eat and nap the whole rest of the day. Like, his most wide awake time is like right now. He's awake playing with dad and big brother, and right in the mornings. But other than that, like, he wakes up from his nap, he's super grumpy, all he wants is the boob, and then he goes right back to sleep. And he is definitely not social at all. He only likes like us three, me, Jeremy, Max. If friends come over, grandparents come over to visit, or we go visiting people, he wants nothing to do with anyone else for the most part. Unless he's asleep, then he'll like tolerate being held by other family members. And these aren't even people that are strangers to him. He has been around them multiple times in his very short 2-month life, but he just doesn't like anyone. I don't really know why. Max was the opposite of this. Max loved everybody. Right up until he was about 4 or 5, he started to gain some like shyness back, but even like as an infant, as a toddler, he would talk anybody's ear off. He didn't care who you were. And Wyatt is much more reserved. He is still not taking the pacifier, which I told you guys in my last update, but now he's also not taking a bottle, not when I'm home at least. So I went to my younger brother's graduation and he stayed with my aunt, and he did take a bottle for them after quite a lot of negotiations, but I wasn't there. But Jeremy tried to give me a night off, I think a week or two ago, a week and a half ago. He said I could, have a cooler or a glass of wine, have the night off, sleep through the night. So I have a lot of breast milk frozen right now. So we defrosted a few bags, had bottles ready, and he would not take a bottle for Jeremy. And he wouldn't even take a bottle for me, so I shouldn't say he wouldn't take a bottle for Jeremy. He just was so confused as to why he was getting a bottle when mom was right there. Like, he wouldn't take it. We tried 3 different types of bottles, all of which he had taken previously when he was formula fed, but he just won't take it anymore. So I'm really hoping that he will take a bottle for someone else so that we could have, a date night sometime. I could have a glass of wine at some point. Something like that would be really nice. But if he won't take a bottle, then that's not really going to be possible. So hopefully he gets over that, or will at least continue to take it for other people. The last few days, he has been able to put himself to sleep, which is amazing. A few times I've put him down in his bassinet while he's still awake. I mean, he's tired, he's fed, we've done our whole nighttime routine. Place him down in the bassinet and he has gone to sleep on his own within about 10 minutes. And then a few times he has not been ready to fall asleep, and I lay him down beside Max and go to do something else, whether it's dishes, make lunch, whatever. I come back and he's sleeping next to Max. It was that he wouldn't go to sleep unless he was like dropping off the boob, or we were like walking and bouncing or rocking in the chair, something like that. But now he will fall asleep all on his own, laying down with no external stimulation, like from another person. So even though he's laying next to Max, Max is usually watching a show or doing a craft or something and not really paying attention to Wyatt, but Wyatt just likes to lay next to him and will fall asleep that way, which is amazing. He has been sleeping through the night. He sleeps between 6 and 8 hours at night, which I think is amazing. Max definitely did not sleep through the night at this stage, I don't believe. And he naps about 4 times a day, and one of which is usually 3 or 4 hours, which is when I get a lot of stuff done. That nap is usually like after lunch, and then I wake him up at supper time once I have supper cooked, just because or else he won't sleep through the night if I let him continue to sleep. So he usually falls asleep at like 1 or 1:30 in the afternoon, and will sleep until 5 or 5:30, which at that point I usually go upstairs and wake him up. His hair is continuing to get lighter. At first I thought that he was losing a lot of his hair, but now that I look closely, it's still there, or it's new growth, I should say, and it's very, very light. Both Jeremy and I had super light blonde hair as small children. Now we both have pretty dark hair. Jeremy's is much darker than mine. So it would make sense if Wyatt had blonde hair. Wyatt has the most beautiful long eyelashes. I'm so incredibly jealous. Wyatt is really sensitive to the heat, as is Jeremy and Max, actually more so than me. I mean, we live in Nova Scotia, so it's not that hot all the time, but Jeremy's hot even in February. So I think Wyatt is going to be the same. He hates being hot, so we usually strip him off, and he loves being naked for that reason, like with a diaper on, or else we're gonna have too many messes to clean up. But he gets really hot and bothered. He starts to turn red, and he sweats so easily. I feel so bad for him. The back of his head is always sweaty, and then when he gets upset because he's hot, he wants to nurse, but then my body is hot, and so he doesn't know what he wants to do, and he ends up making a horrible mess because he'll latch on, and then he gets hot, and then he's kind of like trying to squirm away, and then he latches on again, and all the while breast milk is like all over the place. So it's been quite the time. He has been napping in front of a fan, which I think he partially likes because of the noise, like the white noise that a fan makes. But also I think it keeps him from getting too hot. Wyatt is definitely a mama's boy still. I think I mentioned this in my last update. If he gets upset or bored, he only wants me. He absolutely loves hanging out with Dad and Max when he is happy and he wants to play. He doesn't want to be left out when it comes to those two. But if he's tired, even if he's not just hungry, but if he's tired or he's getting bored or he gets scared, he only wants me. He is starting to get ticklish, which is so funny. So if you tickle his belly, he kind of squirms around, and his feet are ticklish too. If you tickle the bottom of his feet, he kicks his legs. He doesn't really laugh yet. He kind of seems to get annoyed by it at this point, but he definitely is ticklish. Same with blowing raspberries on his belly. He doesn't really like it. He doesn't like protest, but he gets like a really confused look on his face. We have now been referring to the bouncer as the vibrating poop chair because literally every time that kid is set into that bouncer and you turn the vibrations on, within 10 minutes there is a poop explosion. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the vibrations on his butt. Who knows? But every single time he fills his diaper. He's not in it all the time. Like, of course, if he's sitting in it all day, I'm sure he wouldn't fill his diaper all the time. He's only set in it usually at supper time and lunchtime while the rest of us are eating, and we set him beside us, and he fills his diaper every single time. And it's been getting better lately, but it used to be an explosion. So then, like, it would have to be scrubbed, stain remover, wash, like all those steps once or twice a day, which was very exhausting. But he's been doing better with that lately, but it's still at the worst times. We're just sitting down for supper and all you can hear is this cute little baby dancing around in his vibrating bouncer filling his diaper. And lastly, for Wyatt's update, he is trying so hard to find his thumb. He makes a fist like this, like with his thumb inside of his fist, and he's trying to get his thumb, but he can't quite figure out how to get it, so he ends up getting this finger up like this, but that's not like making him happy. But if he really concentrates, he'll like hold his fist in front of his hand and stick his thumb out, and then he tries to get it in his mouth, but he misses, and he ends up like poking himself in the eye, hitting himself in the forehead, getting it up his nose, which he's done twice that I've witnessed, which makes him really angry. But he's trying so hard, and I know that it would be beneficial to me for him to take a pacifier or a soother, whatever you call it, because that's something that can be taken away when he's older and shouldn't have that anymore. Whereas a thumb, I obviously can't take his thumb away. So it would be great in terms of self-soothing if he can suck his thumb and like put himself back to sleep, calm himself down when he's upset, that sort of thing. But it's going to be harder to break that habit once he's older. For me, postpartum, my weight is about the same. I fluctuate between 138 and 140 pounds. I was 131 before I got pregnant, but the weight difference was quite different because I was going to the gym all the time, and it was at a time where I was seeing the scale go up due to building muscle, which I worked really hard for. So although I was 131 pounds, my physical aesthetic was much different. So I still have about between 7 and 9 pounds to lose technically, but I have a ton more work to do in terms of getting my body back to how I want it. I am sorry, I'm getting so hot. Okay, I just put it up in the messiest bun I think I've ever done in my life. I still haven't exercised. I did get the exercise green light at my 6-week postpartum doctor's appointment, but she said take it really slow because I did have my pelvis separate during my pregnancy. I think I might have a little bit of an ab separation. So she said take it really slow, do some core exercises, and go on walks for the most part. I have been walking, not for long periods of time because Wyatt doesn't like being in his car seat, even if we are moving in a stroller. So that's not really something that is working out for us right now. I am planning on starting some sort of exercise regimen. In the past, I have done Blogilates, and she does have like beginner calendars, which maybe I'll look into one of those, see how that goes. But I've also been looking into Tone It Up, which I have followed their schedules in the past and enjoyed. If you follow their weekly schedule, it is quite intense. So I'm not sure how I want to ease myself into that. I'm gonna have to do some more research because I don't want to go too hard at it and then regret it, and be totally put off exercise because I'm too sore. Like, I want to gradually ease myself back into working out, especially since having a baby takes a huge toll on your body. Lastly, for me, postpartum, I am dealing with some postpartum hair loss, which I find really affects my self-esteem. I'm sure you can tell now that I have my hair up. It has been really drastic the last 2 weeks or so, especially here. So you can see right here, you can see all of my skin through the top part of my hair. And also right here. Like, you can see almost like my tan hasn't reached there. That's because it's been really recent, which I'm finding really discouraging. It's a little bit on this side, but not nearly as much as right. This patch is the worst, and it's right like at my hairline. So even if I have my hair down, it's noticeable. Have my hair up, it's super noticeable. My hair is really light here also, like this is hair, just because my hair lightens up in the sun a lot, but it's also really thin. So that's it for me postpartum. I guess I'm going to show you what my belly is looking like right now. So this is what I look like with a shirt on. These are shorts that I fit into before having Wyatt, so these fit me perfectly again, except I have, you know, this excess skin happening. This is what my belly looks like with the shirt up. It's coming in here a lot more than it was in my last update. I still have all this excess skin, which I talked about in each update, but you can see it starting to tighten up this way. Like, this was not as tight as it was, and the skin is tightening up a lot. It was hanging down really, really low, and now it's kind of coming up a little bit. I'm still, you know, not anywhere near comfortable with where I'm at. I have excess weight pretty much everywhere. Like, this is extra weight that I never had before, but it's tightening up quite well considering I haven't done any exercise yet. I have Wyatt here to show you guys what he's looking like. He's definitely gotten a lot chunkier than the last time you guys saw him. Oh, you're looking out the window. There's so much to see. Hi. You say hi to our friends? Like, look how big this baby is. Say hi. Hi. So that was everything for Wyatt's 2-month update and my 2-month postpartum update. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them in the comments section below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.